Hey guys, so today we're going to focus on multiplying and dividing fractions. So the first fraction I'm going to look at is 2/3 times -5/4. Multiplying and dividing is a lot easier than adding and subtracting because you don't need a common denominator. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply straight across. So I'm going to say 2 times -5 over 3 times 4. 2 times -5 is going to give us -10. And 3 times 4 is going to give us 12. I'm not done yet because I can simplify that fraction. 10 and 12 are both even numbers, so I know that I can divide 2 into 10 and 12. Remember to divide into both the numerator and denominator. -10 divided by 2 is going to give us -5. And 12 divided by 2 is going to give us 6. So our final answer is going to be -5/6. To save some time simplifying at the end, you can cross-cancel your fractions before multiplying. Cross-canceling means that I'm going to look diagonally and try to find the GCF, greatest common factor. So if I look at -5 and 3 in the original fraction, they are both prime numbers, which means nothing can be divided into either one of them except 1. If I look at 2 and 4, I know that I can divide 2 into both 2 and 4. So 2 would go into 2 one time, and 2 would go into 4 two times. And I would rewrite this fraction as 1/3 times -5/2. And then I would just multiply straight across like I did earlier. So 1 times -5 is going to give us -5. And 3 times 2 is going to give us +6. Cross-canceling is not required. You can just multiply straight across to begin with, but then you'll have to simplify more at the end. The next fraction we'll look at is 8/7 times -7/10. So if I'm looking at this fraction to cross-cancel, I'm going to look at the 8 and the 10. And I need to figure out what number goes into both 8 and 10. And since they're both even numbers, 2 goes into both 8 and 10. So 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. Now I have 7 and 7 across from each other. So I can either divide 1 into those two numbers or 7. So to make the numbers smaller, I'm going to divide by 7. So 7 goes into 7 one time, and 7 also goes into 7 one time here. So now my fractions read 4/1 times -1/5. And I'm going to multiply straight across. So 4 times -1 gives us -4, and 1 times 5 gives us 5, making my final answer -4/5. Let's focus on some mixed numbers. So I have -2 and 2/3 times 4 and 1/10. Remember, the dot also means multiplication. So I have an extra step here. Anytime you are given a mixed number, you're first going to change it into an improper fraction. So I'm going to say 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So I have -8/3 times 10 times 4 is 40, plus 1 is 41, 41/10. All right, let's look to cross cancel because I have some big numbers here. So 3 and 41, there's nothing that can go into both 3 and 41, so I'm just going to keep that the way it is. But I also have 8 and 10, and I know that 2 can go into both 8 and 10. So 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So my new fractions are going to be negative 4/3 times 41 over 5. So now I'm going to say negative 4 times 41, and that's going to give us 164 negative over 15. Now I need to change that back into a mixed number. So 15 can go into 164 10 times. That would give us 150, so I would have 14 left over, and 15 remains my denominator. So my final answer would be negative 10 and 14/15. Now we're going to focus on dividing fractions. So dividing is really just multiplying the opposite. So if I have the fraction negative 1/2 divided by 5/4, I'm simply going to multiply the opposite. So I'm going to rewrite this problem as negative 1/2 times, and the opposite of 5/4 would be 4/5. Another word for that is to take the reciprocal. So negative 1/2 times 4/5. An easy way to remember this is keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the first fraction exactly the same. I change the division sign to multiplication, and I flip the second fraction. So keep, change, flip. Now I have 1/2 times 4/5. So I'm going to look and see if I can cross cancel anything. So 1 and 5 are already in their simplest state. I can't cross cancel there. But I can cross cancel between the 2 and the 4. 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 4 2 times. So I'm now going to rewrite this problem as 1 over 1 times 2/5. And let me not forget to bring my negative sign down. So it's negative 1 over 1 times 2/5. So negative 1 times 2 is going to give me negative 2, and 1 times 5 gives me 5, making my final answer negative 2/5. Next problem we'll look at is negative 2 divided by negative 3 and 4/5. So right now, negative 2 is a whole number. So we need to put that in the form of a fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and set the negative 2 over 1 so I can put it in fraction form. And now I have to go ahead and change my mixed number into an improper fraction. So I'm going to say negative 2 over 1 divided by 5 times 3 is 15 plus 4 is 19. So negative 19 over 5. So remember, I'm going to keep the first fraction. So I'm going to say negative 2 over 1. I'm going to change my division sign to multiplication, and I'm going to flip the second fraction. All right, I cannot cross cancel between 2 and 19 because 19 is a prime number, and 5 and 1 are already in their simplest state. So I'm going to go ahead and just multiply straight across. So negative 2 times negative 5 is going to give me a positive 10, and 1 times 19 gives me 19. So I have 10/19, and I cannot simplify that any further. All right, last problem we're going to look at. So I have 1/9 divided by negative 1 and 1/3. Change your mixed number to an improper fraction. So I have 1/9 divided by 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So negative 4 over 3. I'm going to keep the first fraction. I'm going to change the division to multiplication, and I'm going to flip that second fraction. Now I'm going to see if there's anything I can cross cancel. So 1 and 4 are already in their simplest state, but I can go ahead and cross cancel between the 3 and the 9. So 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. So now my fraction reads 1/3 times -1/4. So 1 times -1 gives me -1, and 3 times 4 gives me 12. So -1/12. Remember, it's not required for you to cross cancel, but it will mean that you'll have to simplify more at the end if you don't. So make sure your answers are still in simplest form, whether you're cross canceling or not. Go ahead and pause the video, copy these problems into your notebook, and try them on your own. Then click play when you are done to see if you get the correct answers. Did you get the correct answers? If not, try to figure out what you did wrong, or come see me so that I can help you.